Yeah, so I'll just say, we've been in this site for 2 years, and we tried 2 different concepts. The first one being SOS, and it was all about sustainable seafood and vegetarian dishes. Long story. We decided after 11 months of trading like that people didn't quite get sustainable seafood, and a lot of other reasons why that concept and that restaurant wasn't working. We're committed to a lease, and we're like, okay, we need to reinvent ourselves. What's the conscious diner really worrying about these days? And they're worrying about carbon emissions, packaging, eating seasonally, supporting local producers. We read the book, The 100 Mile Diet.
We read it.
It's great, isn't it? We were really inspired by that. And just sort of thought it would be a good idea to have a crack at making a 100 mile wine list. To go with whatever concept it was, and then the owner, who I was just out the front with, then he's sort of like, no, why don't we have a crack at doing the whole thing?
Find the particular foods that you could use first, give these items to the chef and say, this is what I've got to work with.
Pretty much, we started like that. We're like, right, this is when we open in 8 weeks. We are going to be in this. This is going to be. We opened in July last year. We're going to be in the middle of winter. This is the produce that will be available to you within 100 miles. Things that are available during this time of year, root vegetables, you know, and so we're like, okay, let's start with that. So they start, right, we want 18 items, make us 18 items with that as a rough guide. Then like, okay, fine, do it like that, and now also make us a menu without even worrying about what the 100 mile concept is. Make us 18 amazing dishes, regardless of whether or not you can use the ingredients or not, and then we'll see from that, you know, can we substitute, can we do all of those dishes? So there were two versions that we did. There's like good, there's good farming and there's bad farming of things out in sea cages are quite bad for the environment. And then inland farming's really good. So we found like an inland farm in Yarra Valley. They produce rainbow trout and Murray cod as well. And so we tried their trout, and we're like, all right, we'll take that off you. And they recycle their grey water, and they water their fields and all that sort of stuff. They feed their fish on vegetable pellets instead of fish pellets.
That's on the Buxton trout farm.
Have you? So they've got like an area that's like all rainbow trout, and they actually supply our fish, and so it's like a consistent product. Inland farming is the safest way of farming fish, because it's a controlled environment. There's no tides that could possibly wash your cages open or any of those sorts of things. So that's a really good way of doing it. And like I said, they reuse their grey water, and they're using a blend of vegetable pellets as well. So like farming of tuna and salmon's terrible at the moment. To put on 1 kilo of farmed tuna, so to put on 1 kilo of weight onto a farm tuna, you need 12 kilos of fish pellets. So they need to take out 12 kilos of plankton, and compress them. So it's not sustainable at all. I mean, we just have, you know, and our sushi and sashimi industry is so massive across the world that unless the consumer changes their eating habits, tuna and salmon will always be in demand. And if we don't find a correct way of, or a lower environmental way of producing that, then you know, we're always going to be taking it. We'll be going backwards. So there's some of the things that we encountered. That's how we prioritise things. It needs to come from within 100 miles. It needs to have sustainable practices. It needs to be organic, biodynamic, fair trade, and the list goes on. So we'll never just take a product because it's cheap or because the consumer likes it.
Definitely. Didn't realise there was that much sort of into it. I thought I was just going the 100 miles and trying to find the food. So within 100 miles, didn't like anything about the sustainability aspect.
That was like a really big thing that we took from the previous concept. Because it was only seafood, and it was only sustainable seafood and vegetarian dishes, and that's something that we took on board, and we wanted to really lead the pack. Our industry, being, you know, our hospitality industry and our food industry, is a huge market, and we consume a lot, and diners come in, and Melbourne's saturated with really good restaurants, and so if our industry is not starting to be forward thinking about that, then we're going to do a lot of damage to the environment, all for the sake of creating nice meals for people to eat out. Like, I mean, if the consumer is doing these things at home, taking, you know, there's levies on plastic bags now. People are going out to markets more. They're eating seasonally. They're, you know, unplugging things from the wall. They're watching their carbon emissions. They're lighting. They're doing that in their everyday lives. And why wouldn't they want to do that in a dining aspect? Absolutely. And that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to give the choice. You know? So like in terms of like finding your products, guys, you got to start with the farmers. Or start with, basically think about, like, if you have to survive on a 100 mile diet yourself, then think about what do I want to eat?
Well, we might potentially do that at the end when we actually find out. We'll actually try for a week or something.
Have a crack.
I
tell you what, it's tough. And you'll find, as you read that, as you go through that book as well, that couple in Vancouver, they were pulling their hair out, their coffee and their sugar and then all, and you just see how they substitute things, and it's amazing. To do it for a year and to blog it and to write about it, I think it's an amazing thing to do. And even for us to have a crack at it for a week, I reckon you'd struggle. You'd be like, hang in a minute.
With the price range, like obviously here, I saw the menu and it's like pretty competitive price here. Like it's about the same as everyone else. Like, was there much price difference in getting the local farmers?
It does. Like, so
obviously probably more expensive, but
we thought we'd be getting our produce like a lot cheaper. Because it's not because of all of those reasons. It's not travelled as far. The producer's not having to put as much packaging on it. Those two aspects alone is usually what your taxes all go up because of that. Because we are trying to use organics as much as possible and biodynamics, then that, as soon as you start dipping into that field, then the price starts to go up again. If we were to take 100 mile products that didn't have any ethical standards, then it would be, and we take as much as we can to be, and anyone who says they're running a restaurant that's 100% organic is an absolute lie, because it's not. It is impossible, but if you can get yourself up to about 80%, you're doing really well, and that's pretty much where we're sitting at the moment.